one of the things that frustrated me most about that game was Chase Claypool's stupid finger poke in the first half that negated a short gain, and it was obviously the way they're calling it now. They're going to call that, and then Chris Boyd with that stupid flex over James Washington that took what was a 3-yard loss and made it a first down because it was a 15-yard personal foul penalty for taunting or whatever they call it now. After the game, Mike Tomlin said that he benched Claypool for a little bit after that dumbass taunting finger point in the first quarter. I'm fine with him benching him. Claypool has had his moments. He had a couple huge catches down the stretch, but he's had a couple. I get he's 22 or 23 or whatever, but just
well, in that, I mean, just to ask the question, and like I think Mike Tomlin's a great coach, but we have in succession Antonio Brown, Juju, and now Claypool.
What has Juju done?
I mean, Juju is
the milk
more
crate
famous
challenge
for TikToks than like being good.
Well, I mean, he has a shoulder injury that has him out for the year, but he's never been a problem on the field. He's never gotten like stupid penalties. What are you making faces for?
Juju is notorious for being too into TikTok to be.
Did you hear what I just said? I said he's never been a problem on the field. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see.
I mean, Antonio Brown wasn't really a problem on the field.
Ryan, what was your thought going through your head when you saw Chase Claypool celebrating a first down with 30 seconds left in the game when Steelers had no timeouts and time was of the essence?
And it's important. I mean, I don't, that stuff frustrates me. It's an old person who's a parent of a teenager and a 10-year-old because, I get, hold on.
They could give him the Antonio Brown Award for best celebration.
You want to hear what you have to say, but I'm talking. So I understand he's 23 or whatever, and that, young men's brains don't develop till they're 27. But look, man, this is your job. You understand how it works. You can't be doing stupid things continuously over and over and over again. You have to get over it. You talked to Mike Tomlin about playing music at practice, and Mike Tomlin said, don't worry about that. You are at catching footballs and not making mistakes. You're making mistakes, and you're making avoidable mistakes. You're not making physical mistakes. You're making dumbass mental mistakes, and it keeps happening. He had a huge year last year. He had 9 touchdowns, was a huge part of their 11-0 start. He hadn't been there each and every week now that Juju went down. And I know, Brinson, you're bringing up AB and Juju. Juju's never been a problem on the field. He likes TikTok. He's 25 or whatever. That's what those kids do. AB, and it's funny you say that. I was thinking about this during the game. Deontay Johnson is a great player. He's not always where he's supposed to be. He had a drop this week and a drop last week after not dropping anything previously. But, he had a touchdown that I think he dropped during this game. And you don't get that many opportunities, especially when you're down 29-0. But the thought crossed my mind, for as crazy as AB is and for all the nonsense he does, he never made mistakes on the field. Like, you could count on AB to be there. And Tom Brady clearly thought the same thing. That's why he's in Tampa Bay. So, it's a trade-off. You have to do the math. Is it worth it or is it not worth it? Eventually, the Steelers thought it wasn't worth it, in part because AB didn't want to be there. The Raiders thought it wasn't worth it because AB arrived in a hot air balloon and burned his feet off. And now the Buccaneers may have to. By the way. What's that?
I mean, he burned his feet with a cold chamber. I mean, that's.
Yeah, I mean, he found new ways to get out of a job, and he celebrated when he got cut. We saw that also on the internets. But
I mean, I guess to your point is Mike Tomlin does a very good job of containing it, but sometimes the kids get loose. Is that?
And it may be a situation where, like, as he gets older and the kids get younger, there's a disconnect. Now, he has a kid in college, I believe, who plays football. He did last time I checked. So, he has some sense of that. But, like, I've showed you what my 14-year-old Spotify end-of-year list looks like. Debo, who just turned 30, didn't recognize the first 20 songs in that list. So I have no chance of knowing what these kids are up to. And maybe that's maybe Mike Tomlin needs to hire a youth liaison officer or something. I don't know. I don't know what you do.
All right. Nathan, our buddy Nathan Graber in the chat thinks my big eyebrows mean I'm reading the chat. No, my big eyebrows mean if Ryan Wilson, lifelong Steelers fan, thinks that the Steelers need to hire a youth liaison. We have
the Chase Claypool thing is a recurring problem.
But if you, okay, if you think Mike Tomlin needs to hire a youth liaison
officer,
a youth liaison officer,
Brinson, why are you so against the youth liaison?
I know he's trying to keep people from working.
You need a conduit there to connect everyone.
That's all I'm saying.
Is that normal?
Don't you have a youth liaison at your house to relate to your child?
But my point is, I mean, I just laid out. I just laid out why it's my point.
Who doesn't? I'm just
Do
kidding.
you have a youth liaison?
Every team has issues except for the Patriots. I mean, that's the bottom line. Every team you can point to and say, yeah, that's not ideal. I mean, that's just the reality of it. So I don't think Tomlin's lost control of that locker room. Everyone in the place room seems to love him. I think Chase Claypool is just a young guy who grew up, 2 generations later than Tomlin, a generation and a half later than Tomlin, or whatever. And maybe there's a disconnect, maybe there's not. I mean, maybe things are different. He's playing for Mike McCarthy. Maybe they're better, maybe they're worse. But I mean,
like Terrell Owens was doing sit-ups on his driveway. Ocho Cinco proposing to a cheerleader. Like wide receivers do
Odell
crazy.
Beckham kicking the thing.
Doing the dog pee celebration.
None of those situations involve a running clock in the game.
But what I'm saying is that wide receivers do crazy things because they can be a little diva-ish. So I don't think it's limited to Chase Claypool.
I got no problem with Chase. Look, Chase Claypool is a very good wide receiver. Awesome deep threat. Young guy.
It had no effect in the game. They should have won, but the rookie dropped the ball.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Just don't celebrate way down.
I said that, but you're acting like it's worse than the scenarios that Breech just laid out. I think, Debo might agree that Terrell Owens doing sit-ups in the driveway was probably more detrimental to Eagles fans' mental health in terms of is he going to stay or is he going to go than Chase Claypool taking 2 seconds to do the first bounce on.
Would you like to weigh in on this, Debo?
I think that was more involved with just a rivalry with the quarterback. So if Chase Claypool had an intense rivalry with Big Ben, which doesn't appear to be the case, that would be more cause for concern. And I don't know if it cost him tonight, but maybe they squeeze in one extra play at the end.
That's true. No, I don't disagree with that. Debo's just saying that because Penn State dropped a touchdown pass.
Chase Claypool also pretty big on TikTok, by the way, like 2 million followers.
Ooh.
Good TikTok for those.
So you're saying he's Juju 2.0?
Yeah. I don't know why you care about you. As someone who spends all their time on social media, I don't know why. The great irony is the only person that spends 95% of their waking hours on social media on this podcast is you, and you're getting upset at these guys for being on TikTok.
I have no problem with it being on TikTok.
Sounds like you do.